There was a moment, wasn't there? It felt a little bit flat. It felt slightly underwhelming, and all of a sudden, it's been like a coiled spring, hasn't it? And like burst into life. And today, there was a period, wasn't there? There was a period about sort of 2:00, where I didn't know what way to turn. There was news about Mount, news about Havertz. It was just exploding in every different direction.
It certainly has. I mean, it's been like Royal Rumble at Chelsea. I mean, you guys are throwing people over the top rope. I mean, six have gone from Chelsea today. We'll talk through those 6 and whether or not Rory cares about any of them. I think the answer will be no to every single one of them. But, I mean, you guys are cleaning the house, aren't you?
Yes, I think it was necessary as well. Like some of the news that filtered through is fairly uninspiring. I don't think anybody sort of leapt off their chair when they heard that Kalidou Koulibaly had gone to Al Hilal, or Ziyech has gone to Al Nassr, or Mendy's gone to Al Ahly. I don't think anybody particularly was woken from their slumber off the back of that news. But the Havertz news is big. It's significant. It will have an impact on the Premier League.
About the Havertz news. It's funny. Chelsea fans don't rate Havertz. But you're worried because obviously Mikel Arteta's buying him, and he's buying him for a reason. So it's almost like you're worried because Mikel Arteta rates him, and thus therefore there's going to be a good role for him, and it could just work at Arsenal.
Yeah, there is that. I think there's always just the tribalism and rivalry. Chelsea shouldn't be doing Arsenal any favours. Just the almost illogical, irrational beauty of football that states Chelsea and Arsenal are not friends, and Chelsea shouldn't be doing Arsenal any favours whatsoever. And whilst I don't rate Kai Havertz particularly highly, if Arteta thinks that Kai Havertz can contribute to Arsenal winning a league, then Chelsea shouldn't be selling him to them. Like, we shouldn't be doing Arsenal any favours. Yeah. So whilst I don't rate him, and it's not only my opinion that I don't rate him, it's fact. If you just look at the numbers, 139 appearances for Chelsea, 32 goals. That's not impressive. That's not an impressive record for a midfielder, really. Yet he is supposed to be a goal scorer, with great vision. And when I think about the Arsenal team, when you think about the options that Mikel Arteta already has, I cannot understand why they think Kai Havertz is the answer. Because
he could be the glue. He could be. He could be something a bit different that they don't have.
But
they don't have height up front. I'm not trying to say he's Niall Quinn, but they don't have height up front. But he's definitely a presence in the box. He's a bit different from what they already have. And I think, look, if Mikel Arteta, and look, so far so good when it comes to signings for Arteta and Edu, they've got it right with a lot of signings. I think this one could be okay for them as well.
Adi, if we're going to explore this, right, if you're going to kind of play the Arsenal card here and at least put forward the theory that it could work, is that what you're bringing to the table? Are you telling me that this is a good signing for Arsenal because of prowess in the air?
No, I'm saying it's a good signing for Arsenal because of options. For options, if you're Arsenal fans, and look, I think Nketiah is a good player. He's a good Premier League player. But if it's not Jesus, it's Nketiah, who are quite similar as well. If it's not Jesus now and you're struggling, and the answer is Havertz, something different, it's just another option.
I don't think it's different. Everything that Kai Havertz will bring to that Arsenal squad, I think in the players such as Trossard, such as Bukayo Saka, Gabriel Martinelli, I think they have everything that he brings. I don't think he lends anything new to this Arsenal team. I don't think he's going to give any new dimension. And look, being totally frank, in the most basic level, watching Kai Havertz play over the past 2.5 years, I just don't really get it.
Well, look, Arsenal look like they've got their first one over the line this season. Declan Rice, that one looks like it could rumble on and on because Manchester United, we spoke about Man City being tempted to get into the Declan Rice bidding war. Manchester United now look like they might jump in as well. And what Arsenal don't have is players to send West Ham's way. Whereas Manchester United and Man City, particularly Manchester United with Scott McTominay and Maguire, I mean, people might laugh at Maguire, still an England international. McTominay is a Scotland international that can play defence or midfield. Those are good options for West Ham if they're going to go the opposite way, whether or not McTominay or Maguire would want to go. But they can offer something plus money.
My guess is that if you're a West Ham fan, off the back of winning European silverware, I think you'd be slightly uninspired by this thought of Scott McTominay replacing Declan Rice. It feels very flat to me.
Yeah, Maguire?
No, Harry Maguire, absolutely not. If I were a West Ham fan, I would be saying strictly cash. If Harry Maguire's involved, I want strictly cash. So I don't think that's the answer. There is a world in which this could work. But I think it's Man City.
Calvin Phillips.
I think Calvin Phillips makes sense. Calvin Phillips definitely makes sense. Obviously, we know that Calvin Phillips doesn't want to leave Man City. He's convinced that he can make it work. And there has been a track record of coming good in the second season. But that one makes sense to me. Calvin Phillips to West Ham in a make weight of a bigger deal.
really want to hear from West Ham fans. Phone lines are open, 03717 223344. Of all the options, just cash for Declan Rice from Arsenal, potentially Calvin Phillips plus cash to Man City, or McTominay, Harry Maguire, or something along those lines, and cash as well. Which one would you prefer? Because look, he is leaving in the summer. Who would you prefer that he goes to? Question, and we'll answer it throughout the show. Does a successful transfer window result in a successful season? Really good question here, put in by our producer, Ollie Stevenson. Really good one. Just because, remember last season, we all said Tottenham, I did anyway, so Tottenham won the window. I looked at it and I thought, you know what, they've won the window, they're going to go on and it's going to work out. Basuma, awful. Richarlison, awful. Jed Spence, barely played, so we're just going to say awful. Do you know what I mean? Nothing really worked out for them, did it? And we all thought it was a fantastic window.
Does that not mean that it was not a successful window, though?
Yeah. So what makes a successful window?
I think signing not only good players but players that fit your ethos and mould. Like if you think about the players that Mikel Arteta has signed, there is clearly a paradigm of footballer that he likes. There is clearly there is a type. He has a type and they fit into a system. Eddie Howe's another good example here.
Good shout.
He goes for a very particular kind of not only footballer but kind of person. Whereas the Tottenham approach, whilst on some level they could have all been seen individually as being good players, when you brought them together...
Bit of a scattergun approach, isn't it?
Slightly.
But in saying it, though, look, Richarlison had a decent season for Everton and everyone thought it was going to work out. And Basuma, I know how much of a fan you were of Yves Basuma as well. So, again, look, we'll discuss it throughout the show.